Welcome in to Outkick the Show, presented by Sportsbook Review. I don't know what happened on the Periscope feed. I look like I've got an incredible filter turned on. I will say this. I have managed somehow to lose my my iPad. I left it in L.A. that I usually do the show on, so I'm on my regular phone, and I don't understand why the screen is blurry. I could try to fix it. I've tried to fix it. I don't know exactly what is going on here. Is this a disaster? This is a normal iPhone. I'm not sure. I'm going to twist it around and see if I can somehow figure out why everything is all out of sorts. I don't know what is happening out here. Doing a live show from Underwater Outkick. Is everything actually bad here? Can you hear it? Can you hear it okay? Can everybody hear it okay? All right. Let me see. Let's see. It's fine. It's decent. All right. Well, you can stop complaining because the iPad is in the process of being shipped back. I've wiped the lens. I don't understand why it's not showing up better. Is there more than one lens? Am I missing the lens that matters? This is, let's see. That appears to be where the lens is. Let's see if I can fix this. Is that any better? Still not better. All right, hold on. I'm still working. Facebook, you are getting one hell of a show. I think this part is the lens. Is this part the lens? This is amazing. Incredibly talented. Flash, flash, flash. I don't know what has happened here a little bit. Anyway, I am trying to figure out how to do it, and now it looks even worse, right? Now it's even worse. But this is amazing. So welcome in. All right, we have a lot to get to. Just pretend like you're in a dream sequence. Today's show, I'm going to be honest with you. Today's show will be taking place as if we are in a dream. I am coming to you as if we are in a dream today. Everything is fantastic. Everything is working phenomenally well, except for the fact that I forgot my iPad. All right, this is lots of criticism out there. Deal with it. All right. If you want a perfect, crystal clear image, you can go right now to Facebook. You can go right now to Facebook, and it is amazing. It is amazing, the crystal clear quality that my friends on Facebook have to take advantage of. Lots to get to. So much to discuss, all right? Let's start. Yes, nobody puts on a higher level of production than me. One last time. Oh, it got a lot better there. I just got it cleared. Now it's clean. No more complaints. No more complaints. If there is any audio issues at all, then I'm sorry, I just perfectly cleaned it right there. I got to tell you, everything is flawless now. All right, yes, you can buy stock in me someday. All right, sportsbookreview.com right now. I got to tell you, it's the place to go. It's college football opening week. A lot of griping, a lot of anger in the comments, and I am here now. And everything is underway, all right? Go to sportsbookreview.com, and you can get hooked up. All right, I want to start. We got a big rundown of things I want to hit today. Tiger and Donald Trump, media mess. Jemele Hill, out. Michelle Beadle, demoted. Is ESPN finally recognizing what I've been telling you for a long time, that Woke Center is bad for business? Is Connor Daly. He's evidently a race car driver of some sort. This is an unbelievable story. 35 years ago, his dad told a story about the N-word being used, and he was not born for another 10 years, and then the Colts have fired him now, and Eli Lilly has pulled their sponsorship dollars off of him, even though this story happened 10 years before they did. Unbelievable story I'm going to discuss. Ben Shapiro interview. A lot of you may be watching me for the first time, and you can see what a huge professional I am by the fact that I don't even know how to use anything if I forgot my iPad in the hotel room and it's being shipped here. Lots to get into surrounding that. And also John McCain. John McCain, rest in peace, John McCain. All right. If anybody out there complains about the audio, and I happen to look over and I happen to see you, all right? Audio guy is going to die, all right? I will wipe you out, audio guy. If you're obsessed with the audio, you can go to the Clay Travis Facebook page. The audio is phenomenal, and you can watch it there, all right? Just so you know, I am anti-audio guy. Audio guy drives me insane with your sit around and you have to have perfect audio all the time. This is a visual medium. Do you see how sexy I am? Do you see how perfect my hair is? Nobody needs to have perfect audio, all right? And by the way, a lot of people listening right now are like, why in the world did I sign up for this podcast? Well, join the club. All right, here is the breakdown. I've got, and the irony, by the way, is that I've got this massive iPad here. It's like the size of a 5-year-old, this iPad. And they gave me this at Fox Sports Radio to use, and I tried to download Periscope on this because I was going to use this one, and I don't know the password to be able to download an app. So this is typical for me. Got a massive, War and Peace sized iPad here, but I don't know the password to be able to download anything, okay? So this has got my quotes on it, right? This huge, massive screen here that I'm going to read. Yesterday, Tiger Woods was interviewed surrounding the Donald Trump. And I'm going to read you the quotes, and then I'm going to break down why this is a perfect fake story, all right? Are you ready? This is the question that was asked. Your relationship with Donald Trump, how would you describe that professionally and personally? Tiger Woods answers, well, I've known Donald for a number of years. We've played golf together. We've had dinner together. I've known him pre-presidency and obviously during his presidency. Follow-up. At times, especially 2018, I think a lot of people, especially colored immigrants, which seems like a not very favorable phrase here, this is the question, are threatened by him and his policy. What do you say to people who might find it interesting that you have a friendly relationship with him? Tiger Woods responds, well, he's the President of the United States. You have to respect the office. No matter who is in the office, you may dislike personality or the politics, but we must all respect the office. Final question, and this is an amazing answer. This is Tiger Woods being grilled about his relationship with Donald Trump. Do you have anything more broadly to say about the state and discourse of race relations? And the response is, no, I just finished 72 holes and I'm really hungry. That is Tiger Woods responding to a media question from the New York Times reporter. Now, this is something that I think is really kind of fascinating, okay? This is a perfect example of how the far left-wing sports media decides to use athletes to advocate their own political beliefs. This is something that I was red-pilled on. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it until I started to see it everywhere. You and I and every single person out there has the right to their own opinions, all right? They have the right to their own opinions. And as a result, I got to tell you, everybody, all right, audio, hold on, I'm going to pause for a second right now. Every single person who says something negative about audio is going to be blocked right now, and you're never going to be able to return to the show again. To rephrase, I had an iPad, okay, that I do the show on. I forgot it in my hotel room in L.A. It is being shipped back across the country. In the meantime, the only other device that I have Periscope downloaded on and that I can remember all my passwords on is my personal phone. Therefore, I am using my personal phone, all right? If you comment on the audio, I am pulling out my gun and Clay Kyle is going to kill you forever. You sound like you were on a submarine. You are gone. Audio guy is an awful human being. If you have a issue with the audio, I would suggest that you find a girlfriend instead and that you not sit around with your stereo headphones on, masturbating to how amazing the person talking in your ears sounds. I'm not audio guy. Audio guy is, right now, about to be murdered forever. All right? Rampage, audio guy, after taxes guy, all of you are annoying ignoramuses, okay? So, deal with it. That is my suggestion to you. All right, here is the truth of the matter. When you break down what happened with Tiger Woods, what really happened with Tiger Woods was somebody in the far left-wing media wanted to use Tiger Woods to attack Donald Trump. And I have seen this all the time because 96% of sports media did not vote for Donald Trump according to a big lead survey. ESPN had 270 times as much money that they gave to Hillary Clinton as they gave to Donald Trump. Everybody talks about how biased, all right? Everybody talks about how biased the regular news media is. They gave 27 times as much money to Hillary Clinton as Donald Trump. So the sports media is actually 10 times as biased as the regular political media. And that's fine. Everybody has the right to have whatever political opinion they want. That's more power to you. But when you use an athlete's or coach's political opinion to justify the position that you have, that's dishonest. That's you using that athlete as an opportunity to argue for your political beliefs while disguising it and saying, oh, I'm not talking about their political beliefs. I'm sharing the news. What do you want me to do? Ignore it? Tiger Woods handled this response perfectly. He knows that a huge percentage of his audience supports Donald Trump. Republicans Buy Sneakers Too is the name of my new book because it's the Michael Jordan impact. Why would you alienate people who would otherwise love you because you have to be provocatively political and tell them, like LeBron James did, that the president is a bum, that you believe that the people who voted for Donald Trump are uneducated, okay? The truth of the matter is this. Tiger Woods handled this question perfectly. In the Michael Jordan era, if you saw everybody on First Take, you saw everybody on Undisputed, the usual suspects in the far left-wing media were outraged that Tiger Woods had the gall, the temerity, the audacity to come out and say that all he cared about was this, right? That all he cared about was respecting the office of the presidency. And so, as a result, I think there is no doubt at all that this is what all athletes should be doing. And what we hear all the time, by the way, are athletes out there like this. Why don't more white athletes speak out? Because a lot of them are Republicans. Remember when everybody's like, why doesn't Drew Brees speak out more? Because he knows that he's going to be held to a different standard than everybody else will if, I'm telling you right now, if they spoke out and said they were Republicans. There's a reason. Think about this for a minute. Why has no one who works at ESPN ever come out publicly and said that they voted for Donald Trump? There are a lot of people at ESPN who voted for Donald Trump. Why have none of them come out publicly and said they voted for Donald Trump? Because they fear the reaction of the sports media, that they will be ripped, that they will be typecast, that they won't be treated fairly, that they will be Kurt Schilling. I don't think we're in a good place. They believe they would be fired if they came out and said, I support Donald Trump for president. I think it's crazy. I think it's unbelievable, and I think that when you really break this down, this is a amazing kind of situation in general. All right, we've got a couple of other details that I want to get to here. This is a sign that ESPN is starting to recognize that being woke is the best way to go bankrupt. There is no business that exists that can live off of far left-wing sports readership. That's because sports fans, by and large, are not far left-wing. They tend to be straightforward. If they're not conservative, they believe in the meritocracy. They like girls. They like beer. In a social media era, the people who are the most active on Twitter are not actual sports fans. And what we have seen happen at ESPN and what we have seen happen at other sports media companies is all of them have rushed to cover the SJW millennial sports fan, which is a tiny pinprick of the audience. And as a result, all the people that the SJW millennial sports fan loves gets put on television, and their ratings tank, and nobody watches. Michelle Beadle. Remember Michelle Beadle, what she said? Shut up and listen, white men. Somehow she blamed white men when the Cam Newton talking to a female reporter controversy happened. She said, shut up and listen, white men. If she had said, shut up and listen to any other group of people, she would have been fired immediately. But you can say, shut up and listen, white men, because in the mind of many people out there, white men are evil. Now that's racist and sexist, but racism and sexism doesn't apply if you're a white man. That's just the rules of the game. You got to get with them, okay? Then also, P.C. Bromani Jones, Pablo Torre, all of these guys who have gotten shows, Jemele Hill, Michael Smith, the more left-wing you are, the more likely you were to get your own television show. And then you know what happened? The market spoke. The market spoke, and everyone bailed on those shows. Because ESPN was programming for social media, they weren't programming for real life. And this is an instructive lesson. This is in the book. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. You need to program for real life, not social media, which is not real. Many people, I believe, have been led astray by trying to play to the crowd on social media because it's not real life, okay? The number of people out there who actually sit around worried because Donald Trump ranked women 1 to 10, as Hillary Clinton tweeted, is virtually zero. That's real life. Every president in his entire life, as long as the numbers 1 to 10 have existed, has looked at women, if they are heterosexual, and rated them 1 to 10. If they were gay, they have looked at men and rated them 1 to 10. That's how men think. And what has happened is there is a war right now on masculinity. I 100% believe this is real. I think my buddy Jason Whitlock has been out in favor of it. That's why so many people are attacking football. They don't want hyper-masculine sports to exist. They don't want male culture to exist. They want everybody to be a pre-testicles dropping androgynous man, right? That's the ideal man, the beta male out there that everybody wants to embrace. And I'm telling you right now, women don't like that man. Do you know who women like? Men who are men, by and large. The reason why the sexes are different is because biology, men are attracted to women and women are attracted to men. By and large, women are not attracted to tiny, wimpy men, right? If you want to sweep a woman off your feet, the number one thing, you can't control it, but the number one thing if you were a man that you would say you don't want is what? To be short. Poor short men out there are screwed. If you got no money and you got no car, then you got no woman, and there you are. If you got no money and you're short, you are finished. Nobody out there is going to give you an opportunity at all. That's completely cosmetic. That's completely unfair of women. That's judging men based on things that they can't control. You can't control if you're short. Women won't go out with short men. So my wife the other day said, I'm 6 foot. If I had been 5'5", you would have never dated me. Everything else could have been the exact same. She's 5'2". She's like, yeah, you're probably right. How unfair would that have been? My own wife, if I were 5'5", would not have dated me, and she's 5'2". It's not like she's 6'4". I would understand if a really tall woman didn't want to really date a short man, but even short women don't want to date short men. And I'm sorry right now, I know there's some short men watching it like, Clay, I came in today to see you talk about Jemele Hill, Michelle Beadle, Tiger Woods, and I was feeling pretty good about myself, and then you went after short men. No, I'm just saying that women want the most masculine man, right? There's a reason, by and large, why the quarterback gets all the chicks. Because the quarterback's tall, he's good looking, and he's a leader, right? There's a reason why the ripped fighter pilot in his uniform dominates at the bar. Because he's probably tall, because he's probably good looking, because he's probably in shape. Cosmetic things matter. Now, you can't control every element of it, but this idea out there that people want this ascendant beta maledom is such a ridiculous thing. The reason, I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas on Friday and Saturday, and I was walking down the strip, and I was looking around. I said, think about this for a minute. What would Las Vegas look like if there was no capitalism? Everybody from all over the world comes to walk down the streets of Las Vegas and look up, oh, there's a French version of the Eiffel Tower. There's Vegas's version of the Venetian canals. There's the fountains at the Bellagio. What would Vegas look like if capitalism didn't exist? It would be a desert, and there wouldn't be a damn thing built there. Capitalism is good. It is the ultimate credo of competition. Capitalism is about proving that your idea, that your business is better than the next one. Why does each of those casinos exist? Because they each have to be grander than the one before them. Why does everybody walk through Vegas and just look around and they're in disbelief? I was standing by the Bellagio fountain. I said to myself, my God, can you imagine the big brass balls it took to take a risk and build a 4 or 5 acre fountain on some of the most expensive real estate in the world? Think about that for a minute. You want to know how big a big brass balls it took to be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to build a casino right here on the closest part of the Las Vegas Strip. I'm going to build a big fountain, and we're going to put on a show every 15 minutes, and that fountain is going to be so popular, there's no water in Las Vegas. It's all evaporating. It's 150 degrees. There's no telling how much water they have to put in that thing. And as a result, we're going to make even more money in this hotel than if we had built a hotel that took up 5 more acres. That's unbelievable, right? That is big brass ball thinking. That's helicopter dick thinking. That's what America was built on. The idea of something is great, I'm going to make it greater. That's why I say the 2 most important words in the American language are be better, because it's the foundation of everything in America. Not blame someone, which is the foundation oftentimes of the Democratic Party now. Be better. America wins when somebody just tries. I'd like to run on president on a 2-word slogan, be better. Every day, wake up, try to be better than the day you were before. If you do that, eventually you're going to dominate. Get better every single day. Doesn't matter whether you're an athlete, doesn't matter whether you're a business person. Take control of yourself and try to be better every single day. And to me, I love walking around in a place like Vegas and seeing all people from all walks of life, different races, religions, genders, ethnicities, walking down the street and looking around from all over the world and thinking, my God, my country doesn't have this. Why don't we? Because we're not America, and every single day we're trying not to be better. Fountain is 8 acres, somebody said. Even ballsier. 8-acre fountain in the middle of a desert. Think about the balls on that. Somebody sat down, they said, hey, I know we could build a massive hotel right up front on the main drag where everybody's coming through. I got a different idea. We are going to build an 8-acre fountain, and that shit's going to be so popular that everybody's going to come into our casino, and we're going to make even more money than if we just built a casino. That's big brass ball thinking. I got to give credit there. Okay, this story is driving me insane. When you look at this story, and evidently the Colts radio announcer, have you guys heard this story? 35 years ago, the Colts radio announcer was somehow involved in a story involving the N-word. And it was said by an Irishman, and I guess, I don't know if this is true or not, in Ireland, the N-word is not an actually bad word. I'm not sure 100% about this, but the N-word in Ireland was not a bad word, and it didn't have anything to do with race. I don't know. I can't explain, all right? But in America, it's obviously a bad word. 35 years ago, this Colts announcer tells this story. And then it's not even a slur to begin with, according to Irish people. And I don't claim to be an expert on Irish etymology. But 35 years ago, this race car driver tells the story, and then the Colts announcer tells the story about the story, and he gets fired from 35 years ago, which is crazy, right? This is even crazier. The son of the N-word guy, the Colts guy, is 25 years old. He is a race car driver, okay? he is a race car driver, and he was not alive for 10 years after this racial slur happened. I can't believe this happened only in modern-day America. They pulled, Eli Lilly did, the sponsorship off of his race car because his dad said this 35 years ago. All right, I want you to follow me on this logic if you can. The dad 35 years ago did not say it. He conveyed the story of it being said. 35 years later, he gets fired because I guess there's audio or tape of this. That is arguably a ridiculous result, right? A 35-year-old story about a non-racial slur in the conflict in speech between Ireland and America in 1983, okay? That's a ridiculous story. But we aren't even at that point now. The next level of that story is even more insane. And that is that Eli Lilly, which sponsored, I believe it was a stock car, and I'm not a stock car guy, of Connor Daly, pulls its sponsorship off of his race car for something his dad said 10 years before he was born. I want you to think about this for a minute. Connor Daly is 25 years old. 35 years ago, 10 years before he was born, his dad gets blamed for something that he said. Of course, the blame doesn't happen until 2018, and this company decides we are going to pull a sponsorship off the son because they have the same last name. This blows my mind. It is nonsensical. There is no way to defend that decision. No way to defend that decision by Eli Lilly, but this is the world that we find ourselves in, where there is such a hypersensitive society, and everybody is out there so perpetually afraid of saying anything that is offensive that it is an unbelievable story. You need to go read it. I tweeted it out. You can scroll down. Actually, ESPN's Darren Ravel shared it. Scroll down and actually read that story. The point is, we got people losing sponsorships because of something their dad did 10 years before they were born. It's unheard of. I can't even comprehend the level of insanity that we have gotten to in the country where something your dad said 10 years before you were born, regardless of the context, causes you right now to lose your sponsorship. It's unbelievable. Anybody have any explanation of this at all? The only thing I can say is that the country has turned into a large collection of pussies, and people are afraid to use their brains and apply basic logic. It's unbelievable to me. Context doesn't matter, even though context is all that matters. Eli Lilly, the fear of being somehow connected to the son of somebody who once said something racist 35 years ago is so substantial that they pull their dollars off of this guy as a race car driver. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, the society that we live in today. DBAP indeed. All right, Ben Shapiro interview. A lot of you saw the interview with Ben Shapiro, and it went. Let me go back to this statement, by the way. This ties in with my argument about ESPN. This is crazy, but it's particularly crazy because there's a fear of an audience that doesn't actually exist. Okay? There is no one who is going to boycott Eli Lilly over this. Advertisers are so afraid of people tweeting them anything bad that it blows my mind. I'll tell you this story. I had a country music singer on my show a few years ago from the red carpet when I did the CMAs. This country music singer, if you know country music, you know him, he'd be really well known, right? Has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers. Came on my show. After he came on my show, I saw him at the bar later that night. Everybody who's at the CMAs comes over to a restaurant across the street, the Palm, and after they perform, they have drinks at the bar. It's become a big trend. And I see him at the bar, and he walks up and he says, Clay, I got killed for what I said on my interview with you. The interview that we were doing on Facebook and on Periscope. I said, really? You know, I looked at the mentions, and almost everything was great. He said, man, I got killed. I can't believe how much I got killed for what I said on your interview. Went back and looked. There were 3 things said negative about him on my interview, all 3 by the same person. One anonymous account goes on to an account with 1 million followers, says 3 negative things, and he believes it represents getting killed. Okay? That's what brands are like too. It only takes a couple of people saying something negative, and they believe that the roof is falling in. That's despite the fact that oftentimes that negativity is being manufactured by bots, that it's one person with 10 different accounts trying to stoke outrage. What I am here to tell you is don't listen to social media. Social media exists to get outraged. 24 hours later, the story is gone. Eli Lilly, and I use Delta Airlines as an example in the book, makes such a stupid decision because their people get panicked over something that isn't real. It isn't real at all. You are effectively trying to judge the behavior of social media when Twitter is like a funhouse mirror at a carnival. It's always distorting reality. It's not real. What people say to you on social media is not real. You get convinced and of the belief that it is real. I can tell you it ain't. The audience that loves me, I never have anybody come up to me and say anything negative. I never do. Do you know why? Because most of my critics aren't real, and they have no audience. It's amazing. So much of social media is artificial. I'm telling you right now, it blows my mind. Lots of falsehoods, lots of fakery. You can't rely on it. It's just not in any way reliable. All right, the Ben Shapiro interview. And by the way, I think that's what's happened to ESPN. I think they did a show to try to placate people on social media who were constantly tweeting them, and as a result, they lost sight of their reliable audience. Okay? A couple of other things. Ben Shapiro, great interview. Lots of amazing feedback on it. If you want to go see me talk for an hour as an interview be interviewed by another smart guy, I put up the link on Outkick. You can scroll through my Twitter feed. You can go find it. Podcast was a lot of fun. If you listened to that interview and you liked it, give me some feedback right now. I'd like to see from you on Periscope and Facebook. You can listen on the podcast. You can watch the interview on YouTube. The response to it has been phenomenal. So I appreciate all of you and all the feedback for that because I had a great time doing it out in Los Angeles with my guy, Ben Shapiro. And I will do another show with Dave Rubin. I've done Adam Carolla. I'm hoping it's sometime to get to do the Joe Rogan podcast. I've heard a lot of great things about that, and many of you want me to do that, to reach a bigger audience as well. Love to do the Joe Rogan podcast at some point. A lot of those podcasts out there that feature free thinkers and people who aren't afraid to say exactly what they believe. Finally, I'm going to finish off the show here. We had a couple of minutes early where it wasn't working very well. My iPad is due to arrive back tomorrow, so we should be back to regular working order tomorrow. John McCain. John McCain died on Saturday night, I believe. News went out, and I got to tell you, I am a big John McCain fan. Have been for a long time. Don't agree with everything he says politically. I'm a fan of lots of people that I don't agree with everything they say politically. But when you are in prison for 5 years in Vietnam, and when you refuse early release, which you could have received, and end up getting worse treatment because of that, you will forever be high in my esteem. When John McCain ran for Congress the first time in 1982, people criticized him because he was in Arizona and he hadn't lived there very long. And John McCain delivered one of the most devastating responses I have ever read in the history of politics. He said of those who were accusing him of carpetbagging in to win election, the longest place I've lived in my entire life is Vietnam. 5.5 years he spent as a prisoner, 2 years in solitary confinement. I don't care what that man believes in the political universe when he came out of that. The vast majority of us would not have had the strength or the wherewithal or the courage to be able to handle that. And John McCain will forever be one of my political idols for that reason. Also for this reason, and I think it matters even more now in this modern social media age. You can be friends, even really good friends, with people that you have very different political opinions than. I feel like everybody wants to isolate us into ivory towers of tribalism, where we are only able to be friends with people who have the exact same opinions as us. To me, that would be a very boring life. My political opinions today are different than they were 5 years ago somewhat, and certainly they're different than they were when I was 18. Some of my opinions are the same, some of them are different. I'm a father now. I've got 3 young kids. I got bills to pay. I got a mortgage. I know what it's like to make a payroll. All of these things have changed the way that I think about a variety of different issues. But I have great friends who disagree with me on every political issue. And John McCain had great friends who disagreed with him on many issues. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with someone about politics. You can be best friends with someone who walks into the voting booth and votes the opposite as you. And so what I loved about John McCain was his willingness to reach across the aisle and try to fix things that he thought needed to be fixed. I don't agree with many of his political beliefs. I do agree with a lot of them. But that's true for virtually every politician. This idea that we have created where somebody has to be either 100% good or 100% evil, and that we have to constantly be of the opinion that those who disagree with us are completely wrong and oftentimes evil people, is something I just fundamentally reject. And I hope that in the future, as we move towards other people running for president and Senate, that we can ennoble the conversation, and that even if you end up losing an election, it doesn't mean that you were wrong forever. Sometimes people who lose elections end up being redeemed 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, 50 years down the line. And so what I love about John McCain is the idea that politics is a noble profession, that you can be great friends with people that you otherwise may not agree with, and that oftentimes solutions and answers come not from your own party exclusively, but from interacting with reasonable people on the other side of the political equation. I think what social media has done, unfortunately, is led us into an era where instead of picking people to run for president or any other elective office that we hope other people will like, we pick people that we know the other side hates. And I think that's how we ended up with Hillary Clinton running against Donald Trump. You had 2 people who were the most hated people to ever run for office. Why? Because in a social media era, it's not about picking people that will appeal to the better angels of the opponents and also people in the middle. It's about picking people that you know the people you're running against will hate. I think that's the wrong direction for America. I think John McCain, whether you agree with him or not on many issues, represented the right way for America to be. I love all of you. My name is Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the Show. I'll be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, maybe a little bit earlier. I was hoping my iPad was going to arrive and I wouldn't have to go with my phone. I will see you tomorrow. I'll also be live 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports Radio. My guy, Ryan Kelly, take care of you at the Home Loan Expert. Make sure that you get to the Home Loan Expert if you need a new mortgage, you need to wipe out all your credit card debt, and go to Sportsbook Review. You can see the logo behind me, .com, to get all the best gambling news as we roll into college football. I will see you guys. Many thanks. Appreciate y'all. This has been Outkick the Show. Love you. Thank you, guys.